We are live. We're hanging out again in camp because we're bored.
He won't leave me alone.
And I'm forcing him. I forced him to come up here. I said, listen, man, see the size of this guy? You think I could force him to do anything? I doubt it.
He offered me a beer.
I offered him, what? Eric Gilbert, how you doing there, Chico?
Welcome.
Welcome to our camp life, the camp room. Doing our best, hanging out. I don't know if that camera's in the best spot or not. There, a little palm in it. Doesn't matter. So, did we have fun last night?
We did have fun last night.
Other than
the brief foray to the liquor store.
Long event of trying to get liquor at the same price from one store to another. They finally did let us. And we ended up with some nice whiskeys.
Yes.
What are you drinking today, Eric? We are going to start off with a can of Innocent Gun, the lager, because it's light and crisp. And who else is in the chat? A couple others. I don't usually drink my Innocent Gun in a can. And I think I've told the story why. My father poured a can of beer into a glass and a pile of, or a Mo's Chun, how you doing, buddy? Anyway, mold floated right to the top of the can. Imagine if you had drank out of that without seeing what was in the can. So from that day on, and I mean, it was a perfect circumference of the can.
I've heard of skunk beer before.
Yeah, no, this had mold in it.
Oh, I thought you said a mole, like a
no
mole or something.
No, mold.
No, mold.
It just floated right to the top.
No.
So last night we went into town to do a little shopping and came back with some whiskey. We had a friend, some of you know him, Know Your Whiskey on Instagram, Josh.
Josh was quite hospitable.
He was very hospitable. Cheese bear. Anyway, that was good. That tastes. I love that beer.
No, it's good.
We went to a beautiful Lebanese restaurant up here, Lebanese grocery store called Cedars. The food they cooked was phenomenal. What did you get?
I had the mixed shawarma, so chicken shawarma, beef shawarma platter.
On a platter with fresh salad and some rice or whatever, and I got their
great pita, good garlic sauce.
Oh yeah, man! I was surprised they brought us that big bag of warm pitas.
Yep.
It was great, man. In the middle of Fort McMurray. Greetings, my friend Richie. Santa Cruz is supposed to be here. I hope he shows up. He did send me a message, but he'll show up. Send him a message if you get a chance, Richie. We're drinking again out of coffee cups.
These are Canadian disposable.
These are
Glencairn glasses.
Canadian disposable Glencairns. Yep. The Mash and Drum. How you doing there, boss? I have a friend there next to me from Facebook. He has his own little Facebook channel or page. Guess is what they call it. Scotch on the Rocks. Ian Fong, if anybody hasn't met him, but I think everybody in here has already.
Right.
Lee Townsend, how you doing? I do not know what you just typed. But you found something you're quite fond of.
I found something interesting. I haven't had a lot of it in Linkwood, but it was intriguing. So we have a bottle of, so you get the like Distiller's Art.
You got to get artsy fartsy with the light bulb there.
Yeah. Here's the can.
I'm closer if you want me to.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Linkwood from Distiller's Arts. Give it a second to adjust here, guys. There's only 337 of these bottles. Now, before you came up here, you said you were talking to your wife.
Yes.
What did she say about this bottle?
I didn't tell her about the bottle.
Oh,
We weren't talking about whiskey. She doesn't mind. I
never.
did a tasting once where we had some expensive bottles, and one of my buddies is like, "Shh, don't say it too loud. Your wife's going to hear you." I was like, she knows all that stuff.
These guys know Julia, and she's 200. This is bottle 235 of 337.
Lovely 19 years old.
Linkwood. He just opened it up here off camera. And just popped a nice cork.
Pop. Got a glass for yourself.
That one right over there will do.
All right.
I even rinsed them. Yep, can't smell nothing in there. That's good, Chico. Look at that. 19-year-old Linkwood in a plastic glass. How classy is that? Popping a Balcones Rye. Cilanja. Camp life. Showing me how to do my job. And that wasn't a bad price, was it?
It was $1.47.
$1.47.
Yeah.
Well, that's not bad for a 19-year-old.
No. About $35 American.
48% ABV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had I'm not familiar with Distiller's Art, but they had a bottle of Glen Keith there as well, which was 20 years old, and that was, I think it was $120. A little cheaper, but both of them were 48%. So I guess that's their preferred bottling strength.
Linkwood's decision to do that, yeah. A lot of times, but the key thing is this was aged in a single cask. Does it say what cask? Non-chill filtered, natural color,
yep.
Refill hogshead.
Yep.
Willet Rye.
Natural color, distilled in 1997, bottled in 2016.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
This is, we might have a pop-in guest. Is that what you're saying? Frankie?
We may, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't heard from him yet, but he asked to come get his bottle of Glenmorangie 18, which I'm holding ransom.
Wow.
That's not bad, eh?
That is, wow. Okay, so it's only 48%. I wasn't expecting that kind of heat. That's so spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's good.
But still got a bit of smoothness, a nice smoothness.
Yeah, it's not killing me. It's not burning down here.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not anticipating that spiciness. I don't know if it's the plexiglass cup. That's good. Blind Bourbon, how you doing, buddy? Just in camp. We did a little whiskey hunting. Ended up with this independent bottler, Distiller's Arch, which I actually don't know anything about either. And it's a 19-year-old Linkwood with the lighted camera adjust. 337 bottles.
So bottled by Langside Distillers in Glasgow.
Langside Distillers in Glasgow. Okay. Don't think I've ever seen that one. It's very good. I did a Great Lakes Karma Citra IPA and a Single Hill Newfoundland whiskey. Oh, Signal Hill.
Signal Hill. Uh-huh.
Newfoundland whiskey. I tried that. It's not bad, actually.
Okay.
It's very smooth. It's 40% ABV. Yeah, that was good, man. That wasn't too bad, that Signal Hill.
So I got to look that up now.
And you did a Canadian Club 12-year-old earlier. So you're not feeling any pain right now, Eric, is what you're saying. Whoa, the beer just passed the whiskey. Wow. See if I get any more off this nose. That's going to mature. That's going to open up nice.
Yeah.
That is.
That was a little bit of an off-the-cuff purchase.
Yeah, it was, because you were looking for the Cardis and you didn't even get it.
I didn't.
No.
I'm patient.
Yeah.
I know there's more coming.
It might need 19 minutes to open. A minute for every year. You're right, Mose. Richie. Hey, it is Friday, isn't it? I just got told I got to work all weekend. Lee Townsend. Is that Korean or Japanese?
Mm-hmm.
And and I don't know what it means. So, unless it's somebody just with a little name of welcome to the show. Anyway, so you're looking up Distiller's Arts?
No, I'm looking up Signal Hill Whiskey.
Oh, Signal Hill Whiskey. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, I think that this will open up nice. I sure wish I brought my Glencairns. That's good. I'm impressed. Actually, I might end up getting one of those on my way out of here.
Yeah, there were 3 bottles.
Yeah.
So there should be 2 more there.
They'll cringe when I walk back into that store, though. That girl did a phenomenal job. She was an assistant manager there, but I think she might be new to that position. And the area manager, was trying to help her. We'd been to another store where Lafroig was on special. And they were out. My buddy bought the last bottle of the Madeira finish Lafroig Cardis. And anyway, he said, yeah, well, there's 3 bottles at this other store. So when you go to that other store, you expect that price at that other store. Well, they're like, oh, no, that's only that store. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Pump your brakes. So I decided to get a hold of somebody that I know that's associated with that company and do a little name dropping and throw my weight around. And they offered to do the deal. But in this brand store, if you buy 3 bottles, you automatically get 10% discount. So that's primarily what she finally ended up doing at the end. Yep. It wasn't me that had to deal with the thing so long. It was poor freaking Alex. Because he'd bought the bottle already. He didn't worry about the price difference.
And he tried to do the refund, and then they couldn't ring it back in properly. And then it was ringing up more expensive.
And then there were some inebriated people coming in behind us trying to buy a single can of beer, and they only had 1 till open. I'd never seen such things like that before.
I had already made my purchase and was sitting in the truck laughing at them.
Yeah, he just disappeared. He should have gone down, ordered our food, and brought
That's
it back.
why I had a premonition about the cartridge. It was going to be a troublemaker. I stuck with the Linkwood.
You're smart. You're pretty smart for a QA. You got me going on the Linkwood. Think I'm getting the Cadenhead Linkwood Glenlivet 19 out since it's open. So I have a couple Linkwoods. I think that 1 or 2 of them are the SMWS releases. I have a 30-year-old. Hey, Scott, my bourbon journey. How you doing, buddy? You had a nice little interview with Distiller. That was kind of cool. I was working, but I got little bits of it live on your Instagram. Close to Genronic, 21 or 18, really, about the same price. That's good. I'm calling something already set up tomorrow. I'd rather have my 3-day weekend. Wouldn't we all? I got to work all weekend, I guess, now.
Yes, sir.
Does that mean I make a lot more money?
3 OT days, so.
3 overtime days. 3. Oh, yeah.
Right. Monday's the holiday.
I'll take it. Take that money and go to Scotland. That's excellent.
Yep.
I think you could add a little water to it, but I wouldn't.
Yep. I'm happy with it. I actually put a little bit of water in my mug before I drank.
Oh, okay.
And so there was a little bit in there already. So
yeah, no, that's good.
But that was I'm pleased. I'm pleased with my purchase.
And I've never bought a regular Linkwood. But dollars to donuts, I bet you I would like that one better than the regular Expression.
Does Linkwood
even make a regular Expression?
Yeah, or do they just go straight to the blends?
They might, yeah.
I don't recall ever seeing, but that's not necessarily an endorsement that they don't exist.
Santa Cruz is going to buy something malty tomorrow after my job in San Francisco. Well, that's good. McAllen 4. Well, that's not up here yet, so thanks a lot. Love me some chili. Oh, I see. Different. I got a message to do with something that we're doing, but it's not. Get the Mac 4. Did you guys watch the Scotch for Dummies? And if Bourbon Shenanigans hears me here, that guy, I mean, sure, they're generous to him and let him come over and drink their whiskey and all that stuff. But his presentation to those 4 guys when he gave him that bottle was so sincere. I think that he actually wanted to tear up a little bit. That guy is awesome. So if anyone's talking to Bourbon Shenanigan, you tell him I said that. That was phenomenal. He was single malt. Single malt whiskey just subbed your channel. Hey, single malt, found a bunch of Glendronach 20-yard recently at a good price. Glendronach 21-year-olds. Where are you? Because, well, you must be in the U.S. or Ireland because of the way you spell whiskey. So that means we won't. I don't do.
Could be another.
Should get a cam and start up. Do Instagram at all? Single malt whiskey. You probably do, don't you? I recognize that name. Single malt whiskey. There's so many names around, man.
We might get Frank up here a little quicker. I just told him I had the bottle up here if he wanted to drop by. I told him it was good.
Yes, there you are. Now I'm paying attention. I meet so many people, guys. Yes, in Edmonton. I meet so many people that, and the names are so familiar, I forget so many things, right? Why did you spell your whiskey with an E if you're in Edmonton? I just have to ask you that question. What to drink next? Oh, man, just turn around behind you there, Blind Bourbon. There's lots to drink. What should I have next? Well, bourbon guy. Obviously, probably something that starts with the word eagle. I know. Yeah, it is a problem. Turn around. I usually can turn around and find something too. Although what I do is put my stuff in one room where you guys have seen me doing my shows, and on my open stuff is actually out in a different area. And so I can pick something that I'm going to have, but I usually, because there is a tendency to want to keep drinking a little more here and there. Right? Yeah, you know what? That's it. Mose, get him some Islay whiskey. I think Blind Bourbon would like it. Where did you find a bunch of Glendronach 21 years old in Edmonton? Nose to finish. I will, Richie. Check them out. I had to use the E since the proper spelling was taken. Oh, I got you. I had the same thing with my name. Well, before I ever thought I'd be doing anything like this. That's another thing. You might be all right, Scotch on the Rock.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to start using that now in other areas if you ever plan on it to lock it in place in case. Yeah. Because you're not doing it exactly the way it's where you're used to hearing it. It'd probably work out all right. So, Santa Cruzin, did you say you were getting into the rye? Oh no, you said you were opening up a Linkwood. That's good Linkwood, man.
I'm happy.
Yeah, I don't think you made a bad decision at all. Mm-hmm. What made you see it and choose it? I mean, it's not on a fancy container.
No. I haven't seen Linkwood that often. Mm-hmm. I think the first time I had it was at a friend's place in Edmonton, Brad Stover and Jen Siona. And she had found a bottle in a liquor store in Jasper. And it actually had bits of charcoal in the bottom of the bottle. And we had it and stuff. And then you mentioned Linkwood the other day, the first night we were here. And so I went and I happened to see the two Distillers Art and the Linkwood. And it's like, I think I want it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you made a really good choice there, man.
And the cartridge was an obvious choice for me, so I didn't want to play the type. If that makes any sense.
It was which?
It was a very obvious choice for me.
Yeah.
I love Lafroig.
Yes.
But I decided not to play to type. Let's try something.
It's all right, because
branch
I
out
was
there a little
willing to
bit.
let each one of us take it, and you let me have a second bottle. So, a mom and pop shop, south side. Okay, I'll try to remember that. Did you buy them out?
Mhm.
That's a very good price, man. $105 for a 21-year-old.
We could be back at Edmonton this weekend.
Yeah, we could be. We could be done.
Then we can go really shopping.
They are slowly dying off. There's so many people out there. Scotch Sniper, Know Your Whiskey Josh up here, man. It doesn't even matter. He is hitting stores and finding stuff, and he's got so many people. It is. It's become such a phenomenon. I don't know how much more the whiskey world can take with how many YouTubers are there out there talking about it, and how many people are going on and rating it and pricing it. I have to think about Eric Waite and what he said in one of his last shows about, people are just doing the same thing over and over again, right? That's why I have never expanded much. A lot of guys do the ratings of, out of 100 type of thing.
Yep.
I think after doing that for a while, you'll just go, yeah, that's an 80. Your scale just gets so used to it. You're like, yeah, I give that 100. No one ever gives anything 100. I've never seen 100. Even Jim Murray, he goes from whatever he gives it to liquid gold, and then world whatever is, I don't know, man. Some of this stuff makes me wonder. You watching that stuff?
No, I don't.
How would you rate your whiskey then?
I rate it on how I'm enjoying it then. So if I'm at a tasting, go through and stuff. It's like, I enjoyed this one a little more than that one. Go back and see and stuff, sort of get a little bit of a ranking of what I'm tasting now. Every now and then you get something that stands out and say, okay, you know what? Yeah, this is on the upper end of what I like. But that's about it. I don't take good tasting notes. And when I do, it's usually, I like this one better than that one. A little more, that type of thing.
Yeah. And I mean, if you have enough and you save some and you go back to your first one, say you get 6 or 7, you go back to your first one. Sometimes you'll change your opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't believe that. And I've had bottles that I've opened up and gone back to in 3 weeks or a month. And I'm like, wow, this is way better. So it's opened up. Or one of the number one things that I think is real, especially when we get talking about aphrodisiacs and so forth, right? I mean, we'll talk about oysters or whatever it is that's an aphrodisiac. And it will be the environment you're in and the people you're around that made something better.
The mood and situation.
Sure it is. That's the only real known thing. More so than that's 30 years old, so it's the best. I
was talking to Alex last night about I still do. I like Bowmore whiskey, and the Bowmore 12 is a great dram just to sit down and have a drink. And I was having a drink one night and was really enjoying it. And I grabbed a handful of nacho chips. Just plain nacho chips, a little bit peckish, and I ate them and stuff. It was great. And I went and took another sip of that whiskey, and it was horrid. Just did not mix at all. So if I had those chips and had that whiskey for the first time,
I'd blame the whiskey.
I'd blame the whiskey, absolutely.
So
that was a big thing. Between it's not always, wasn't just the saltiness, because some salty stuff can go very well with the whiskey. So I always say, if you don't enjoy this whiskey now, don't write it off forever. Try it again another time, because you never know.
Exactly. I agree with you. My bourbon journey, the biggest influence is the people you're sharing it with. Unless you're drinking alone. I'm out of camera here.
Okay, that's the best time to drink.
I don't know.
Best company I've ever had.
Do you want to try this now? I was thinking.
What's up? What you got?
Well, we're wondering.
What you think?
Did Frankie text you back?
I haven't heard from him yet.
The guy's probably in bed already.
He went to supper late. Like I was back sitting down before. He was asking if I was down eating yet. He was going to drop down. So that was, well, he should be. Who knows?
No. Have you tried Canadian single malts?
These guys?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
I'm going to open up another Canadian single malt. When's the last time I did that? I have a bottle of this at home, and I find it very odd that I paid less for it here. And I always have a hard time opening up Canadian bottles for some reason. This is made in British Columbia. It is 46% ABV, artisanal single malt whiskey, 100% Canadian barley. Distillers are Patrick Evans and James Marnius. And I tried it. They have several different releases. Single point is Family Farm and Oyster River. So take a look at it. Santa Cruzan, I'd pour myself a 19-year-old. Look at that. Look at that cap, eh? See that cap, gentlemen? That cap is a glass cap. That's not a super duper fancy bottle, but that cork is a glass cork. This bottle cost me, what's it say on there? $59.97, $60 Canadian plus tax. Do I need to rinse that out?
Go ahead, help yourself.
Yeah, I'll let you pour a little water in her. I'll get rid of her. Thanks, buddy. So, there is some phenomenal stuff coming out of Canada, guys. I hope you get to try it. Is that ready?
Mm-hmm.
Cheers. Yeah, we're going to make it healthy. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Oh, that's different. Totally different than the Linkwood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Certainly
totally different than the other ryes that we've had.
Yeah.
Well, this is barley, though, you said. Yeah. So,
this
is sorry, this is malt. This is not rye.
It's not rye. Yeah.
Little brain fart. No, that is different.
That's good.
What's?
I don't know. I wish I had a real Glencairn.
Honey?
I get a little orange. I get a little honey. You guys, all you bourbon guys, well, Mash and Drum, you're not just a bourbon guy, are you? Hey, Bill, thank you. We're sitting in our camp room, mine, opening up single malt whiskeys. Yesterday, we went into town hunting because there were some sales. There's a Liquor Depot is the brand. There's 8 different Liquor Depot stores. And we opened up this. Linkwood, 19-year-old, private independent bottler, 48% ABV, 337 bottles. Phenomenal. And you did a nice show today, buddy. I got part of the story. I had to move in and out from camp. It's good stuff. Now, since the Whiskey Dick is here, we'll go over this whiskey. Canadian single malt from British Columbia, Shelter Point. And that's an area near Oyster River, it's called. Whiskey in the Six. Have you got any of this whiskey out there in Ontario? And instead of having a screw cap cork, like the other Canadian whiskey that you opened, it has this wonderful cork here, which it bites good.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Bill, this is a glass cork in a $60 bottle. That is impressive, actually. I thought it was just a regular synthetic cork.
No.
I cannot believe this is here. We're drinking out of these Glencairns again from Canada. This is a good whiskey. Whiskey in the Six. He's probably the sexiest YouTuber. What do you think?
I like it better than the East Coast single malt that I'm aware of.
Glen Britain. Do you?
I do.
I do too. It's a glass cork, my man. Shelter Point. I was surprised as you are. And if you can't hear it, I'll put it by the mic.
Glass cork's got a little plastic sheath on it.
Yeah, it's got a little rubber gasket up top, but
that's, yep, all glass.
That's it, man. Look, I trust it so much. Right over a $5,000 computer.
Yeah, the computer's good for it.
Yeah.
I've spilled beer and whiskey over mine many times.
Yep. Rob, what are you doing? You've been packed and moved all your whiskey to the new house? Bourbon night, bourbon journey. Well, they're bourbon night and they're on a journey. You didn't do wrong. Donner Pass. How you doing, buddy? What are you drinking? Hey, Welsh is back from Spain. Amrut Portonova is awesome stuff, buddy. And Whiskey Dick, did you figure out who it was you were talking about that made the was making the orange flavored whiskey? That is. What do you figure you're getting out of that?
Sorry, I had to do a little
green. I think I want to send that. Compass Box made an orange whiskey. I don't think they called it Scotch. It's just orange flavored something or other. Spirit. And Amrut made one. Now, Amrut actually infused that whiskey somehow. I made a comment, and I'll have to look it up with Amrut. And the guy on Facebook answered me like you wouldn't believe in a heartbeat. He's like, that is not true. We do it this way, and they are. He defended Amrut instantly. I was very impressed by that part, eh? Dr. David Ragland. Worry not about the cork, just drink the whiskey. Shakespeare whiskey. I'll have to give you that. I just was impressed by that fact that it's a glass cork. Jason Fisk, how you doing?
What do you like about a real cork?
There's nothing to really like about a real cork. It's just a romance thing. You sell the steak, you sell the sizzle, not the steak type of deal. Synthetic corks will last longer. If they all had corks like this one here, which is glass with a seal, we could actually store our whiskey like this and not worry about it rotting.
What about a plastic screw cap?
And in the long run, plastic screw cap or even a metal one, but plastic particularly will preserve your whiskey better than any of them.
But there's still something nice about the sound of a cork coming out of the bottle.
It's all about that. Anybody wants to argue the science, they can, but technically, first of all, environmentally, corks are, I mean, you got, once upon a time, maybe they were only making corks for wine from the cork tree. Whiskey Whistle, how you doing? I should send an invite out to anybody that wants to come in. They can come in.
You know what we need is probably to keep some corks.
I do.
But so that you have all your other bottles, you know, get them with the plastic screw caps, but then you have the cork for home for getting that sound.
Well, sure. But that, and Whiskey Dick did a very good review of decanters one time. And that was the whole thing about it, because you have lead in the decanter, so it's okay if you had it. And it was only meant to be used as display for when you were having guests. So
Sure, yeah.
you weren't supposed to keep it in
Store
there
it.
all the
Yeah,
time.
you're not storing it.
And the lead would have obviously would be bad for you. Malton in Montreal, I got synthetic corks. I bet you got more than synthetic corks. I save some corks, and every once in a while I take them in a container and I soak them in water just to keep them around in case I get a bad cork.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And I save very different ones. I don't measure them, but I mean, obviously,
different diameters.
Different diameter you're going to deal with in case it breaks. I went through a series for a time, and I think it was just they were old bottles that had been sitting upright.
Right.
So I randomly go through my collection while I'm in there. And I flip things down for a little bit.
Yep. Let the cork soak a little
bit. And let
it
get wet, and then I stand it back up. Right? Because if you're going to start having lots of, you're going to have to do that stuff. My mic drop was a glass cork. Very nice touch. Did I do a mic drop? Boom. I've never done a mic drop before.
That looks like an expensive mic. So
they're not that bad, actually. I got this one on sale, and it came with a free video game, which I'm sure that's the one that Whiskey Dick should have got with his power glove. Did you? No, you didn't see.
No,
you weren't here yet. Whiskey Dick he wears an old school Nintendo power glove.
Okay.
He doesn't wear it all the time to show, but everyone's like, "Where's the power glove, man? We need the power glove." Now I kind of talk like that, and I sound like Bart from Scotch Test Dummies. Where's the power glove? Fellow whiskey tube dudes. Whiskey Whistle just moved back from Korea.
Okay.
He was teaching over there, and he came back with his lovely wife and 3 children.
Nice.
And he is now studying very hard to be in real estate in Manitoba.
Okay.
I don't think we'll ever be to Manitoba to work. Shouldn't say that. I never thought I'd be.
I've worked in Brandon.
I was in Brandon at the Coke
fertilizer. Yeah.
So I was there too. Yeah. Donner Press says Bullet Bourbon has the worst corks I have. I save a good one and throw away the one that comes with it immediately. That's hilarious. Somebody was making a comment. Was it in? I think it was on Instagram as well as in Whiskey Dick's. No, they were talking about Maker's Mark and something else, but I made a comment that Bullet Bourbon should be left and used as a marinade. I didn't like it, and I have to take Ian's advice. Go and
try it again sometime.
Try it again. I never bought a bottle. I probably should buy the 10-year-old or the cast strength. Well, I think they have a couple different ones now. They have a rye. So it might be good, but I didn't like the regular stuff. I didn't think.
That's fair.
But my go-to bourbon is Elijah Craig 12-year-old, which is now not for sale anymore. If you find it, buy it. It's now gone to a non-age statement. So what's Ian's deal? Okay, thanks for asking, Whiskey Dick. Ian and I work together. I just met him on this job. We're both QAs at this job here for this refinery. And I was working with Ian. We were in a safety toolbox talk meeting, and we have to sign the safety toolbox. And I didn't have a pen, and he went to hand me a pen, and he dropped it, and I picked it up, and I went, "Oh, thanks." Signed it, and I tried to hide it in my pocket. He wouldn't let me keep it. He was very adamant about that pen because it says Lafroig on it. Now, did you get that at the Lafroig distillery? No.
I didn't. That one I didn't get from the distillery. I got from one of the many tastings that my buddy Chris Dowden, when he was rep with Mary Soleil back home, and
okay.
they rep Lafroig. So
okay, so back home for him is Newfoundland, and on Facebook he has a page called Scotch on the Rocks. On the Rock, pardon me, Scotch on the Rock, as in Newfoundland is the rock. But you've traveled. We can retell them. A lot of the guys have heard the story already, but
yep. So I've been to the Lafroig distillery. I've been to Scotland twice. The first trip I made it to the Glengoyne distillery for a nice tour and tasting afterwards. Made it to the Auchentoshan distillery, just to the store to buy a little bottle. And then on the second trip, targeted trip to Isla, and we were there for 3 nights. Did Ardbeg and Lefroy on the first full day, tours and tastings, and then Bowmore and Brooklady, tours and tastings. And each one was good. Each one had some really good points. And it was all a little bit different, but it was very enjoyable. I could easily spend a good 10 days there, visit each of the distilleries, 1 per day, plus a little bit of downtime, and have time to sort of explore. I didn't get out to see my little plot at Lefroy.
Oh, but you did get a plot?
Oh, I have one, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might be on my second one. I think they might have lost my first one, but
what? How did you lose one of them?
I don't know.
And so at some of them, they wouldn't let you take pictures.
So when we went to the Ardbeg was the first one. Ardbeg was in operation when we were there. So when we were going through the distillation room, we couldn't take pictures because they were afraid of the possibility of something burning, flashing.
Right. You didn't have an
Igniting.
intrinsically safe camera.
Exactly. And they probably don't know what that is.
They don't know what that is. We do, but
Lefroy Distillery that afternoon was actually in their yearly shutdown phase for cleaning and maintenance. So we could take pictures everywhere.
Awesome.
No problem.
Why don't we get to go on any jobs like that when there's a shutdown?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be way better than coming to a
Well, I'm really
refinery.
hoping. My buddy Chris is now in for trying to start up a distillery back home called Wooden Wall Distillery. Any case, so I'm hoping to get into inspecting their boiler and that type of stuff for them. But Bowmore was also shut down, Bowmore and Lefroy, because they're both owned by the same people, and they were in the same shutdown phase. But when we went to Brooklady, they were operating, and we could take pictures anywhere. It was a lot more laissez-faire, a lot of fun, and they were and nothing blew up. So
no, and they were pretty laid back.
they were very laid back. The tour was a lot of fun, and the tasting was even better.
See,
yeah.
So that answers your question. Now, partially, now you went and started doing some whiskey tastings.
Yep. So I've been
back home in
Newfoundland. Yeah, when I first really got interested in doing Scotch tastings, I was trying to find out about it. We didn't have hardly anything. There was like one tasting done once a year that was available in St. John's, and I figured it's like we could probably do this cheaper if we all chip in and buy a couple of bottles. So I bought the bottles, charged people sort of on an estimated cost recovery, and we had fun. Yeah. And we learned, and I learned a lot. So I've been doing that over the years. And then we did some fundraisers. We've done some like more public events, advertise, that type of thing.
And so what's helped you learn the most by trying to do stuff with, like, teach other people?
Yep. So but there's only so much that I can learn from reading and tasting. Tastings that I've gone to. So my Scotch pusher, Andrew Campbell Walls from Edmonton. Yeah. Not from Edmonton. He's from Scotland.
He's from Scotland, yeah. And he works for a distillery now.
He does. His mother worked for a distillery, and she's from Newfoundland, so he can't be a half bad.
So his mother worked for a distillery in Scotland.
In the Glenore distillery.
Glenore, but she's from Newfoundland.
She's from Stephenville, Newfoundland.
There's a phenomenal, in Saskatchewan, there is Original 16. It's a distillery or a brewery.
Yeah.
And they were going to close down, and 16 of the employees went, whoa, wait a minute here.
Yeah,
this is our job. So they ended up buying this place.
Yep.
And it was a good, hard row for them to make it work. But their master distiller now, her name is Amanda Butt, and she is from Newfoundland.
Cool.
But she has trained and been educated in Scotland, as well as the universities that she's gone to.
Nice.
Excellent. And probably somewhat of a background of chemical engineering.
Yep.
And pharmaceuticals.
Yep.
Type of stuff. Right.
Nice.
A lot of people don't realize that some of the #1 distilleries in the world are actually pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Something to look up. So what's the crosstalk going on here about? Was that a good enough question, Ian? I like the name. Scotch on the Rock is clever. Yes. See, you know as well as I do, there's no time to go back. Too many whiskeys to try. Yes.
It was, coming up with a name for our group was a little bit of a challenge until it just kind of hit me between the eyes. And it's like, of course, it's so obvious.
Man, I'm glad you did that. You should maybe start making some T-shirts and patent them.
No.
Right? There's some ideas there, man. So hit that like button. Yes, if you do, guys, hit the like button and subscribe if you want. I'm not as savvy as the Whiskey Dick, Whiskey Whistle, Scotch Test Dummies, Whiskey in the Six, Malted in Montreal. I really have only put in the energy to do lives, but some of them are really lame. And then sometimes I have some guys that have lots of knowledge, like this fella right here. So we were hoping to have Alex back, but he decided to take the truck and go back into town. I don't think he's doing another whiskey hunt.
I should be in bed now, but
yeah,
you're a bad influence.
Yeah, I'm a bad influence. We'll go another 10 or 15 minutes and we'll make her. You got 15 viewers here, and they're doing a lot of chatting. In whiskey, Whiskey and the Dick mentioned that Metallica is coming out with their own whiskey,
nice.
And it's going to be called Blackened, or an interesting whiskey Blackened collaboration with Metallica. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the collaboration? Is it that they have a lot of money and they're investing in it? Or
well, Iron Maiden just not just, they've done it for a little while now. The beer, the Robinson's Brewery, the Trooper, it's quite a nice beer. I really like it.
Yeah, they put out some good stuff.
Yeah,
so Malted in Montreal is really does quite a few things with beer. It got me into watching some of the beer tubers, and they're a fun crowd. And thanks for mentioning the beer, since I have a coffee cup full of it right here.
It'd be interesting to see what, I mean, obviously there's a marketing angle to it, but, if they have a general interest, and I'm sure the boys are not, unfamiliar with whiskey.
No, I'll tell you a little story, gentlemen. And that's very funny, Whiskey Whistle. Mark, they play their music to the barrels. Whatever happened? Oh, what happened to Meat Sweat? I haven't opened up a Meat Sweat. I think who should I send a bottle of Meat Sweat to, gentlemen? And none of the YouTubers can answer. I'll send them a bottle of Meat Sweat if they review it on their show.
Cool.
I should do that.
Yeah.
I think I need to buy. Holy crap! The Meat Sweat. Oh, Wells Toro, you were here for that. You know what we're talking about. It's in a cupboard somewhere here in the room. Technically, we're not supposed to be drinking.
It's a dry camp.
It's a moist camp, we'll say, or a damp camp. If you're not an idiot, you won't have a problem.
And it's not a dry site. I've done work up here before where most of the people were getting flown up.
Yeah.
And as soon as you entered the airport, and the charter airport, to the time you left the charter airport, you were supposed to be dry. Even if you made it in the town, if they caught you having a drink there, if someone happened to see you, done.
Really?
Yep.
How can they
that's
legally have any say in that matter?
I don't know, but they did, and they did.
I would tell them to stuff it. Man.
I know someone who got terminated from the site for having a beverage in town.
That's got to be the biggest story I ever heard. That I would have lawyers all over this. I'd advertise it everywhere. Motorhead made a whiskey. Oh, yeah, Peter, but what was it like? And thanks for being here, Peter. I didn't see you come in.
I saw Motorhead live once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where?
Iron Maiden show. Well, Iron Maiden was the headline in Toronto. It was just after the big SARS thing. Because the flights up to Toronto were really cheap. Buddy of mine paid for it. I was a big lifetime Iron Maiden fan, growing up especially. But anyway, big show. Was like Ronnie James Dio was there, Motorhead, a bunch of others. I can't remember them all, but yeah, it was kind of fun seeing Lemmy sing Ace of Spades live.
No. Malted in Montreal, you made a comment, I missed it, about who you think Ian looks like. He looks like a
Did you see him in a zoo?
No. Mike drop glass cork. It was, what was it? Type it in again, Swami. What did you say? He looks like a jacked something. I meant to mention it, but live streams get a little out of hand. Ian is built, reminds me of Sandman on Spider-Man. Okay. There you go, buddy. All around they get loose after a few weeks. Bullet Bourbon was the worst corks.
Fellow comic geeks.
Oh, yeah. All these guys are comic geeks. Well, Swami, I don't know if Swami's a comic geek. He's more of a hardcore punk rocker somewhere. Type it in again. Oh, Will Sasso. Who's Will Sasso?
I'm trying to think if I should know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know, buddy. Anybody else know Will Sasso? Motorhead Whiskey is by the Swedish.
Where's he got to type? I want to see the spelling.
Right here. Second one up.
No.
A ton of Unibrew in Oklahoma. Are you serious?
Unibrew.
Yeah, he spelled it different.
Yeah.
It's UNIBRU.
Yeah, stuff from
Quebec.
Yeah.
Montreal, obviously.
Yeah.
He's in Quebec.
Yeah.
He's my second favorite Montrealer.
Beer that'll put you on your ass.
La Fin de Mont.
Fin de Mont, yep. Drink a lot of Fin de Mont with Andrew.
Oh, from Mad TV. Will Sasso.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the character right off. I'll have to look it up, but I have seen some Mad TV. So.
There you go. You're just jacked. It's Whiskey in the 6. I'm not handsome. Are you typing in stuff for Julia? I hope so. Because I miss her. She's in Jasper just shooting a wedding. I'm just dressed up here, top and hillbilly-ish. Macmyra. I have a special release Macmyra. I think I had whiskey in there still, you little weasel.
No, that was not.
Did I?
No. Does it taste like whiskey?
No, it tastes like water with some whiskey left in it. Rob's drunk. Why? Because he's not telling you how cute you are, you little cutie pie? Rob, when you get Rob real sweaty and stuff, I bet you he like squeezes out olive oil. I wish Frank was here. Show me Frank's bottle.
All right, here.
Take a picture of me and text it to Frank while I'm drinking out of his bottle. That's what I do. We bought this for a little tiny Italian guy. Like, he's serious.
Let me just haul the
out
there.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
An 18-year-old. That is a very nice. That is very nice. Yeah. You want to take a picture of me drinking this?
Absolutely.
We're going to send this to Frank.
Oh, I just got back, going to bed, though. Emailed you the cash. I'll pick it up tomorrow.
Oh, I'll send him a picture.
He must have gone to town or something. So
yeah, Frankie's about the size of a peanut compared to Rob.
Here you go. Done.
Anyway, Frankie's afraid of me. He talks like he's a tough guy, like he was a gangster, you know.
He's part Italian. He can't help it.
It is not extremely rare, Swami. We know that you call it the Glenmorangie, but Frankie wanted it. So when we were in town, we picked him up a bottle.
Nothing wrong with a big Glenmorangie.
Glenmorangie is quite good.
The 16-minute Tane.
Listen, this guy is probably as big a Pete head as anybody else, and he even likes the Glenmorangie. What would you like to try?
Want some more Linkwood?
Let's have another little.
Let's have some more Linkwood.
19-year-old Linkwood. Thank you, Mose. That's a good drop there, buddy. That's good. 337 bottles. Presentation of the Glenmorangie is better than the. Well, there might be something about that. Yeah, I never had a deal
label there.
Yeah, just gotta hold it still long enough.
Yeah, you try, or we can try the. There you go.
Sort of.
Yeah, almost.
Anyway, 19-year-old Linkwood.
Mm-hmm.
Just opened it up here when we started the show.
48%
48%, yeah, 48%. This is bottle 235 of 337. I bet you're thinking about buying another bottle before you leave.
I'm not driving back home. I live in Newfoundland. I have to fly.
Yeah.
And I still have to go to Edmonton yet.
Oh, and you might find something there.
I might find some more.
Are you going to hit Chateau Louis?
I should go up to Chateau Louis. I haven't been to Chateau Louis, and I've only been there once. And it hasn't been a long time. To do most of my shopping more towards the south end. And is it Fine Wines by Liquor Select on 149th? I joined their club once a long time ago.
I don't know.
I started doing tastings there.
You need to go Chateau Louis and Cake and Cork.
Yeah, Cake and Cork is quite good.
How do you get down there?
Where?
To Edmonton.
From here?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Well, they're supposed to pay for my flight home. So I'll figure something out. But my plan is to go to Edmonton first for a couple of days or so. Then maybe Whitehorse to visit a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Via Vancouver because that's Air Canada. And then back to Edmonton and then home.
Right. Hey, anyway, if we're both off at the same time and it works out, you can travel back to Edmonton with me.
Thank you. Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll work it out. You're letting me share that beautiful bottle of Linkwood.
Well, you two have been quite generous, so.
Wow.
But
that's whiskey. It's not whiskey till you share it.
No, exactly. Who said that? I like that.
Well, Aquavite says it. Roy Duff. You need to get all these guys.
I'll check them all out. I will.
Aquavite you'll like him. And know your whiskey, Rob or Josh yesterday. Josh, after we were done, he met us at the liquor store and he said, "Come on over to my place. I'll pour you a couple drams." And we were running pretty late. We were running out of time and we want to get back. But he laid this stuff out. Beautiful little picture. I should post it.
Can they see my phone if I?
Yeah, if you hold it at the right angle here, or we shut the light off.
Oh, here, I'll leave it in your hands, and you're more familiar with it all.
Okay,
so that's the picture of the table.
So I said, text me that picture. And oops. And he poured us two 25-year-olds, a Glenmorangie. No, a Longmorn.
Longmorn.
25-year-old Longmorn and a 25-year-old Old Putney.
Yep. And
the
then
picture's a little blurry.
Yep.
Oh, well, then he took
it's coming up there. And then he poured. Oh, look at that. Frank sent me money.
Frank is a good man.
I
like Glenmorangie 18-year-old.
And then he poured us this.
Oh, 4 years ago. You're whatever. Oh, and then he poured you that. Yeah. It's a Hunter Lang. They call it the McGibbon's Province or Provenance. And it is autumn distillation, they call it. It's a 10-year-old Lefroy. You like that, didn't you?
I did. I do have to ask, though, what does autumn distillation mean?
I don't know. They have it. I have some Macallans that are, I think, winter.
Okay.
And then they have fall. And they
so is that just when they distill it? Is there something about the distillation?
It could be.
By season
You'll have to look it up. I mean, they're in an independent bottler, and they're part of the Hunter Lang or Douglas Lang organization, which is actually they separated. And I think the Hunter Lang got better stuff, right?
Frank says it's a lovely picture.
Yes. Tell Frank, think of that next time you're pouring some whiskey out of it and drinking it. My lips around your bottle. We pick on Frank because he's the littlest guy. He's just a little fella, a little Italian, little Italy for Rob, little buff. He's a buff fella. He's not really. He's just skinny.
When I graduated high school, I was like Frank.
Were you?
Till my second year of university.
And then what? You got to start rugby because you might be a little overweight, but you're thick like a.
I don't go to the gym. I have not been in a gym, and I don't know how long, like a couple of years.
Yeah.
I used to do a little bit of rock climbing, I used to do a lot of kayaking, but like I'm not talking about Olympic racing and training or anything. I'm just talking about recreational.
Yeah.
This is me on Scotch.
There you go. Scotch on the rock.
Skinny little bugger I was.
Hard to type when my nose is polishing the wall. What are you even drinking? Where am I? What am I missing in this chat here? Carlos Santana supposedly has a tequila called Casa Noble. That what? Oh, I should look that up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got Sammy Hagar's Cabo Wabo tequila.
Yeah.
You know, you got some of that type of stuff. Now that's his own. Well, I don't know if he owns. Does he own the distillery, or is it just a partnership? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just looking at Swami bashing stuff again. What are you bashing now, Swami? Still like it, but move past it. Well, Swami, you know what I think a lot of people do, and I'm not saying you do this in general, but everybody here, we get into writing notes. I did tons of that, man. I was writing notes while I was in tastings and looking stuff up and everything, and it goes back to the days I first learned how to ride a motorbike. I was looking up all the details and all the statistics on this style of motorbike, that brand, this, everything. Finally, one guy said to me, he said, just get a motorbike.
Just ride.
Just ride.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here. And I'm not saying just drink, but just be in the moment and enjoy your whiskey. Here we are comparing two totally different whiskeys. Shelter Point, which is from British Columbia, 100% Canadian barley, and I'm highly impressed by it. This is 2016 inaugural run. I think I need to buy another bottle of this.
It's and decently priced.
And it was $59.
Yeah.
In Edmonton, I paid $76. I don't think it was the 2016. I need to get another one of these. And then I need to start shipping them to some people. No, I do. I want to do a little thing with it, with Canadian single malt only for the guys that live in the U.S. and in the U.K.
Nice.
I think I've got a little idea.
That sounds good, yeah.
Got a little idea. And then we're comparing it to a Linkwood. Mose, your iPad died. You enjoyed batching. Explain to me what you mean, Eric. All season grain used for distilling. Now you're talking about anyone had anything from the French distillery? No, I have not. I have some of
to see what the French would do.
I've had a couple French single malts.
Yeah.
I didn't like them.
Okay.
And I forget the name. One starts with an A, I believe.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, not at all.
We saw last night. There's still only one Welsh distillery, I guess. Is there Penderyn?
Penderyn, I think so. It's good. I mean, it's hit and miss. I've had ones I liked and had ones I didn't like. You're not a killjoy, Montreal, as long as we get the bust your balls about it, right? But yeah, you know what? That cast strength would probably be phenomenal, and I don't have one. So anyway, we will be finishing up here very quickly. You'll never hear me down talk a whiskey. No, really, Santa? I'll send you some that you might. I send you some. I mean, maybe you just won't say a word. That's the only way not to talk down about it. I've had ones that are terrible. And you watched that episode, I think, that stuff from John. So here's the thing. Look it up. Sterling Distillery. Sprague. Sterling. Take care, Malton of Montreal. Thank you very much. First time I was ever on Utah too was with Malton of Montreal.
Cool.
He invited me on just as a guest, and I had my motorcycle helmet on. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, what? You got your helmet on. I got to put mine on too.
I can put on my climbing helmet.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad to see that. That means that I can wear the same helmet, the Petzl.
Absolutely.
And I tell you something.
I bought mine in Mech in Edmonton.
I don't buy mine. I get them. I've got several free from a different refinery.
Nice. Right?
Or you just go make friends with the rat guys, right? Yep. The Petzl stays on your head. It doesn't have a brim. And I was in the Cyclones. Like one day I was in the Cyclones for 3 hours. They're only, listen to this, Swami, before you go, 29 inches inside diameter. And I got to climb inside it, and I got a 38-inch waist. So don't tell me I can't get into tight holes.
What's nice about the helmet I have, the Vertex, it's got the vents.
Yes. Oh no, it's phenomenal, and it stays on you. Even if you don't put the chin strap on, it stays on way better than your ones. Yeah. It's meant for rock climbing and so forth, right? I mean, that's what it really is.
Yep.
Loch Ness, I'm glad you've been here, buddy. I'm sorry if I haven't seen you that much. Like you mentioned earlier, I could ride a Honda Trail 90 and have a blast on it. Just riding. Absolutely. You know those little Honda Groms they've got? I got a buddy in Edmonton. He bought one and did up some stuff on it. He rides around the city, and he's my size, that little 50cc bike. And he has a freaking hoot, and everyone's laughing at him. It's honest. But if you got like, I don't know, 10 guys to go to the racetrack on one of those things, they'd have just as much fun as they would on their 1000cc. They would, and not worry about it so much. Yes, I am, Swami. No comment. I knew I make it too easy. Yeah. They're always picking on me. Always picking on me. Julia, if she had better Wi-Fi, she'd probably be here telling you to behave.
You as a professional bricklayer, I can't imagine that you have thin skin.
Man, if I went to lay red bricks right now, they'd tell me to go home and practice on my own time. Like, what are you doing, man? Get out of here. Anyway, everybody, you're awesome. I love y'all, like I always say, and the chats are where it's at, man. You guys are what makes it worth it. Richie, I hope your phone didn't die too soon, man. You got no charger? What whiskey am I searching out next? Whiskey Tube. That is awesome, whoever you are. Thanks. What am I searching out?
Is there anything that you're
in the back
of your mind that you're kind of looking for?
What I wanted, because someone mentioned it, but then they told me the price was Brookladdy Yellow Submarine, but they said it was like the 3rd edition. I'm like, when did the second one come out? I only have the first. So there's a Yellow Submarine. I have the an original Yellow Submarine, and I even brought it with me to a tasting with Jim McEwen and got him to tell the story, and he signed my bottle. So his story was slightly different than the story that we read on the internet, right? But not too far off. It's basically the same thing. A local guy in that area found a submarine and called the Ministry of Defense and said, I've got your submarine, right? It never got any great reviews. Although Know Your Whiskey, Josh from Instagram, loved it. And he had a bottle and lost it in a forest fire, right? Not in the forest. The fire came into the city of Fort McMurray and took out a couple pretty big areas.
Pretty devastating.
Yep. Welsh, you're working in 4 hours? You're awesome, buddy.
Ouch, hardcore.
That's harder than we are. We're not even up that
Cheers to you.
Yep, Welsh, you're awesome. I didn't even know what you do in Spain. I know you have a Spanish wife, and I think you're English. I bet you she don't take none of your crap. But he has got it, man. Here's a guy living in Spain.
Not a bad place to be.
I wouldn't say.
I haven't been yet, but I need to.
You know what? Tennessee. Where is the tail of the dragon, Keith? Kyle. Sorry, Kyle. Take care, Whiskey Tube. Thank you for joining. And Richie, you watched. Oh, did you? I did like Julie. Of course, I like Julia's Clyde Mays. Is that a trick question, Richie? You trying to get me in trouble? She watched this later. She's like, you didn't answer Richie about my video. Julia makes like short little videos, and she does good.
Cool.
Whiskey Whistle. Thank you very much, buddy. And you're one of the ones I'm thinking of for this shelter. We're going to do some more sampling. I think you need to come to Edmonton. You should get a real estate license in Alberta.
It's booming there.
It's booming. I think Manitoba is about to have a big boom. 2 hours away from Tennessee. Okay, I'm coming down. Where can I put my sleeping bag, buddy? This Linkwood Distillery was a phenomenal find.
Yep, I like that.
I've never really been disappointed with an independent bottle. Never. No, I have a few I haven't opened yet.
The biggest disappointment I think I've had in an independent bottling was the Gordon MacPhail Glen Grant 25.
Gordon MacPhail, Glen Grant.
Yeah.
Now you bought another independent bottler, a Gordon MacPhail.
I do. I have a Gordon MacPhail Bunnahabhain 8-year-old, heavily peated.
And what made you decide to bring that today instead of?
Because I wanted to try the Linkwood. We'll bring the Bunnahabhain. We'll have the Bunnahabhain
Next time.
I won't promise tomorrow night because I need to get some sleep.
I'm not. Listen, I said we could do this. But anyway, guys, absolutely. Don Holland, how are you doing, my buddy? Anyway, listen, buddy, we were just going to say goodbye, but we'll give you a real quick recap because Don is one of the phenomenal guys out of the chat.
Mm-hmm.
We have got a Distiller's Arts independent bottling of Linkwood, 19-year-old, only 337 bottles. Phenomenal. That was from Ian Fong. Ian is on Facebook with Scotch on the Rocks. And on the Rocks, Scotch on the Rock, no S at all. Scotch on the Rock because he is from Newfoundland, and that is the Rock. And then we opened up Shelter Point, and both of us were surprisingly impressed by this single malt whiskey from British Columbia.
Absolutely.
100% Canadian barley, and it even has a kosher check on it.
Cool. Is that what that means?
Yeah. There's tons of these symbols.
Yeah.
If you go on the back of a can of Coca-Cola, not just that symbol.
Yeah.
You'll see a K. Sometimes you see a U. Tons of different symbols. Means it was blessed by a Jewish priest, basically, and it's kosher. I've even seen potato-flavored potato chips that are kosher. It's not real bacon.
Wow.
Yeah, something else.
Okay, that's new to me.
Okay.
I'm aware of kosher, but I've never seen a kosher check on a bottle of whiskey.
It is the first time I have seen a kosher check on a bottle of whiskey. I'm not joking, you guys. Maybe it's not uncommon. There is who's that? Jubilee whiskey. There is some. It's interesting. Yeah. Thank you for supporting me, Whiskey Tube, and all the other whiskey tubers. You're awesome. I really appreciate this, guys. It's a slow start, but that's the way I like it. I'm glad you guys are all here, and I'm glad that I have a very interesting person to discuss things with. And I love you all, and it's time to go. You got nothing left to say, Solange? With you must have something in there. Solange. Have a good night, everybody. I'm going to leave the chat going for a little bit.